Okay, welcome everybody to eAcademy. Today we're going to look at a geometry lesson on identifying vertical angles. My name is Mr. Carlson. We will also look at using that relationship in vertical angles to set up equations and solve for missing angles. This is your Power Standard Skills numbers 4 and 8. Alright, so let's get started. First of all, let's define what vertical angles are. The definition of vertical angles is just a pair of non-adjacent angles formed by the intersection of two straight lines. So if you take a look at this picture below, I have two pairs of vertical angles that are shown, and it doesn't matter what I do with these points. If I move these points around, it's going to change those angles, but you'll notice that no matter where I move them, the angles that are across from each other will remain equal to each other. Okay? And that happens for all vertical angles. So vertical angles are really the angles that are across from each other when two lines intersect. Alright, let's use the definition then of vertical angles to solve for a missing angle. Let's take a look at the problem that I have here. It says find the measure of angle 3 if we know the measure of angle 1 is 5x minus 27, and we know the measure of angle 3 is 3x plus 5. So what we have in this picture here is I have a pair of parallel lines with a transversal running through those parallel lines, and I have 8 different angles that are listed. The two angles that we're referring to in this particular problem are angle 1 and angle 3. And you'll notice that angles 1 and 3 fit our definition for vertical angles. Okay, they're non-adjacent angles where two lines intersect, and in terms of the way that we want to look at them, they are directly across from each other. And what we know about vertical angles is we know that they're equal to each other. So what that will allow us to do is it will allow us to set up an equation involving these two algebraic expressions. So what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to pause the video and see if you can set up that algebraic equation, and when we come back we'll take a look at that. Alright, we're back. I hope the equation that you set up is the same as mine. 5x minus 27 is equal to 3x plus 5. Now what we want to do, if we're going to figure out what angle 3 is we want to first figure out what x is. And if we could figure out what x is, we can go ahead and plug it in for x here for angle 3 and solve for that measure. So let's go ahead and use some algebra skills here and go ahead and solve this. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'd like you to be doing this with me as I'm going through it. So I have 2x minus 27 is equal to 5. Then I'm going to add 27 to both sides. And if I do that, I get 2x is equal to 32. And then if I divide by 2 on both sides, we find that x is equal to 16. Okay. Now make sure that we understand that x is not our answer. X is just the value of the variable that we're going to plug in for the measure of angle 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the measure of angle 3 is equal to 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to put in 16 plus 5. Well, if I go ahead and do that, if I evaluate that, 3 times 16 is 48, plus 5 is equal to 53. Therefore, the measure of angle 3 is equal to 53 degrees, exactly what we are looking for. And we know since 1 and 3 are equal, that 1 would also be equal to 53 degrees as well.